Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ashley. So today, this is the Maryland Cannabis Community Partnership's virtual conversations that we're hosting around the coronavirus and the Maryland cannabis industry. So I know a lot of folks have questions about what they should be doing, if they should be stockpiling, what the heck coronavirus is. So we decided to bring on professionals and industry leaders to actually talk about it and give it to you in a layman's terms so that you'll be able to digest it, take it home to your family, or you're probably sitting at home with your family right now watching it. So I am very, very happy today to bring on Ashley of Cannabis Nursing Solutions.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive into just a few quick questions that we can leave our community with as it relates to coronavirus. So, I mean, this is a pandemic of huge proportions, right? Can you break down exactly what coronavirus, COVID 1920? Tell us what it is.
Okay, so in the simplest terms we can make it, and from a nurse's point of view, it's a virus similar to the flu because people are comparing it with the flu, but it's a different type of virus. And in general, viruses, their sole purpose is to attack. It doesn't matter who or what, they attack cells. They want to make the cells as much like them as possible, and then they'll move on. And once that cell looks like them, the cell dies. This particular virus is a respiratory virus. So when people start talking about the risk factors with you being over a certain age, having immune compromised health system, in all honesty, we don't have enough information out there to say, who, what, how, and when. But in general, if your lung capacity in some way is compromised and it can attack and cause your lungs not to function the way they're supposed to, it will do that. So in general, we need to slow the spread up. We've heard the language, slow the spread, stay to yourself, wash your hands, and follow those measures that have been put out by the federal government and the state government. And I guess to piggyback on that a little bit more, as a nursing professional, I see a lot of people trying to protect themselves with masks and gloves, and they're not using those things properly. It breaks my heart to know that, before I say it, I'm gonna go back a little bit. I'm a nurse of 12 years. I've raised baby nurses from, straight after school. I mean, right after nursing school, and I spent a lot of my career doing that. So when I'm seeing my baby nurses struggling to get the things that they need to take care of the patients that are here and protect themselves, it breaks my heart. So with that, I just want to say, if you guys have these things that nurses need to protect themselves when they're coming in close contact with patients, I do recommend that maybe, instead of wearing them to go to the grocery store when you're not really protecting yourself, and donate it to somebody who could use it and actually protect themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely kind of changed our lives. A month ago, I don't know anybody who thought about, stockpiling these masks that, you see when you go to patient first, or, how calm this was supposed to be, or, it's amazing. Even the fact that we're doing this virtually, right? We had this conversation in person, probably, preferably in front of a camera, but, it's kind of our new normal. So how would you say, I mean, it's affected me, I'm home right now. How would you say it's affected you, your life, your business?
It's affected everything so far. I mean, personally, financially, professionally, this has affected me all the way around. And one of the things that I find, again, disheartening is the fact that we are, especially on social media, we're kind of battling each other about how much more it affects me versus you.
Right.
And as I talk to more and more people, especially in my professional groups and things of that nature, I'm finding out like all of the different perspectives that this makes a big difference in. As a nurse, it breaks my heart personally to watch my fellow nurses go through what they're going through on the front lines. But then you also have to think about me as a small business owner. you know, like, and I'm in a startup at that. I don't qualify for some of the things that's being offered to me. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just not going to make any money right now. My husband's also a small business owner as well. No, you don't work, you don't make any money. And again, he's very new. So, you know, and he's a licensed contractor. So you're not going to be able to go into people's houses and fix up their houses right now, you know, because you got to protect yourself. The patient needs to protect themselves. And in addition to that, watching my children not understand the gravity of what's going on and having to maintain stability while I'm trying to explain to them why their lives are changing. And then, you know, being able to cope with the fact that my own personal life is changing, and not transfer that fear that I'm feeling, because obviously we all are feeling it, onto them, because then it becomes a traumatic situation for them because their minds are so immature. Um, as far as cannabis nursing solutions, one of the services that I offered was to educate nursing professionals about cannabis. I would not feel good if I continued to advertise my services during the time where they are so needed. So that's just a loss that I'm willing to take. And I'm not going to try and persuade anybody to come to sit in a class to professionally develop themselves about something that is not a priority at this time. So yeah, this whole situation is it's terrible.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely life changing. But you know, one of the things that I've been seeing online, because we're all sitting online, whether we're listening to live DJ sets or arguing in Facebook groups, or you know,
Right.
live watching together a TV show, was that it's a time that's really kind of brought us together. You know, I typically work outside of the home, and so being in the home with my partner 24 hours a day, it's a new, you know, it's a new experience, right? And there's things that we've learned about each other, as I'm sure you know, with you've got a bustling household. I'm sure there's things that you've learned in this type of new normal, so to speak. But I guess what's one positive thing we can take away from this that can kind of hold on? Because in times like this, it's easy to slip into depression and anxiety, right? You
Yes.
just have to try to figure out what's going on. So, you know, what's a positive that we could hold on to as we navigate this? I keep saying new normal, but I'm just roll with it.
It is a new normal, but you know, for me, I think it's the quality time. So I'm doing a lot. That's just for the past 2 years, I've done a lot. I've been moving, I've been shaking, I've been creating, I've been this and that. And I feel like I miss stuff because of it. Um, and especially when it comes to having such a young family. Um, so just kind of being forced to pause, I think can be a good thing in and of itself if you look at it that way. So spending more time with my husband, you know, because a lot of times we're kind of passing each other, swapping off the children. Sitting down with the kids and watching Zombies 2, and I know all the words now, girl. But those moments I think are precious, and I've even taken pictures in the house, which I have, like, usually I take a picture of like the thing that we're doing, but you know, we were rolling on the ground and the kids were covering me up with blankets, and just taking pictures of those moments I think will be meaningful to our grandchildren moving forward. And then again, you know, reassessing the value of my business is, I think, important too. You know, like, how creative can I get with this business? You know, and that I wouldn't have thought about that prior to this. I already had my business model in place. I knew where I was going with this, but you know, it's kind of forcing me to take myself out of myself and do different things. So I think a lot of positives can be found within the situation. It's just that we have to stop and not pay attention to all of the craziness that's going on around us. Get off of social media for a second and breathe. And you know, cannabis is what you need to decrease your anxiety, I think that's an avenue, seriously.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your time, giving us your tips, giving us your experience, sharing a little bit about what we can expect to do in this situation. Thank you so much for your time. One of the great things that I learned in this conversation was that pausing and taking a break can help you really revitalize a lot of the things in your home. I didn't even think about that. So I appreciate your time and I appreciate your expertise because there's a lot of stuff that's floating out around there. Wash your hands. You can make your own hand sanitizer. If you hold the water in your mouth, it gets warm in your stomach, and then
Oh my
so
God.
thank you so much for kind of setting the record straight and giving it to us in a way that we can understand and then know what to Google when we feel a little weird.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, I think this was a great conversation. And for the folks who don't know how to find you online and know exactly what you are up to in the next couple of, I guess, weeks or months, what's your projection for 2020? You can go ahead and let us know that right now.
Sure. So you can email me at Cannabis Nursing Solutions if you have questions. If you're a nurse and want to be a cannabis consultant, please email me, cannabisnursingsolutions@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Cannabis Nursing Solutions. Or if you're interested in one-on-one consultation, we can do them virtually. I can sit down with you and, we can assess your symptoms and see if we can figure out a plan for your cannabis consumptions for your personal symptoms or needs. Even if you need it for the anxiety now, just so if you're scared, if you're anxious, if you're depressed, if you're going through those things, we can kind of figure out a regimen that might work where you don't necessarily have to get high, or if you really want to get high, we can talk about that too. So email me, call me, 443-585-2600. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for your expertise and your time. And we look forward to communicating and connecting with you again.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome.